Hey guys, your friend Spencer here, just getting my house prepared for Halloween like a Christian should. Amen. So just trying to get all that squared away here. Let's make sure that looks all right. I think that is lined up correctly. So we'll leave that there. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so hey guys, I want to talk about Halloween for just a few minutes, and we'll talk about this and just been kind of studying the history of Halloween and how did we get such a strange practice in our nation. Well, basically, about 1800 years ago, we're talking about pagan Europe. In Ireland, Western Europe, and all through there was a religion called Druidism. And they were basically the Celtics, and they just basically were pagans, is what they were. And they had a festival called Samhain. Now, on October 31st, they believed that the growing season ended, and they went into winter from there on out. Well, they called winter the dead season. And so October 31st was the entrance of the dead season is what it was. Basically, it was a celebration of death and the beginning of the reign of death. But they believed on October 31st, which they called Samhain, they believed that the spirit world would open up and that the barrier, if you will, between the human world and the spirit world came open and that demons came into the earth, and man, they just kind of thought it was a big scary thing. So basically, they believed these demons, they called them fairies, would come and they would kidnap children and kidnap people unless an offering was made. And so men would go door to door in the village asking for an offering so that they could leave it outside the village so that the demons or the fairies would not come into the village and steal everybody and steal everybody's kids. Now, the problem was for them to be out, they were putting themselves at risk of being kidnapped themselves by fairies. So in order to protect themselves from these demon fairies, they would dress up as demons themselves to try to fool the fairies. Does any of this sound familiar to you? And basically, they would say something along the lines of trick or treat when they came to your house. Either give us a treat so we can put it up to the offering outside the village, or we're going to put a hex upon you, which is what the word trick means. Now, later on, by the 9th century, the Pope actually tried to assimilate this heathen pagan practice into Catholicism. That has been the Catholics' MO ever since day one. They're trying to assimilate religions into theirs and merge them together. By the way, much of the themes on my channel are talking about the merger of secular and sacred and how that is basically theological folly in every instance that you can imagine. By the way, that's not new. That's been happening for centuries. And so the Catholic Church tried to assimilate Samhain by merging All Saints' Day with that. And instead of calling it Samhain, they called it Halloween or Holy Win. And it's now being called Halloween to us today. And so that's basically what happened. The Catholics of Western Europe would practice Halloween, or instead of Samhain, they just added the word holy to it and called it Halloween. And now it came over to America with Irish immigrants, and this is what we do. Kids dress up as Power Rangers and all kinds of stuff and go door to door getting candy, saying trick or treat. To them, it's just another festival that we do, and I'm sure that many of the people that are doing that really just don't mean any harm. And I'm sure there's no diabolical intentions when they do that. They just want to let their kids dress up and get some candy. I mean, who can blame them? I mean, who doesn't like free candy? I mean, who's not wanting free candy? You're weird if you don't want free candy. But the question should be raised, should Christians participate in Halloween or Halloween? Well, of course not. We're Christian people, so we don't celebrate that. To us, October 31st means nothing biblically. It really is just an assimilation of a pagan ancient holiday that we just had this American custom that we go around knocking on doors asking for candy. Kids dress up like Power Rangers. No, I don't think Christian kids should dress up as satanic devils and put blood all over their face and goofy stuff like that. Of course not. I mean, I'm ashamed that I even have to say that. But at the same time, you know, you have a door and people are going to knock on that door, and maybe when they come to your door, maybe you should give them a gospel tract or give them the Word of God. Give them something in their bag. Maybe they'll read that later and they'll go and maybe get saved. You never can tell. So that's basically the history of all this, and that's what they're doing, is that they're just kind of replicating an ancient druid festival called Samhain, where they had to protect themselves from demons. Pretty wild stuff, if I do say so myself. But it can be an opportunity for Christians to give the gospel to people as they come to their door. You know, we're always going to their door, so maybe when they come to ours, we can take the time to capitalize on that. But I think the real silver lining of this for Christians is that on November 1st, all that candy goes to 90% off, and you can buy all the candy for a year's worth of junior church on November 1st. Speaking of which, I think I'm out of Reese's peanut butter cups. I need to take care of that. And then while I'm there, maybe I can buy my kid a Spider-Man costume for 75% off. That'd be cool. Ha! So no, Christians really shouldn't celebrate Halloween, but at the same time, it can be used as an opportunity to give the gospel to people. Just something to consider. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy with a Bible.